Hey, welcome back to another episode of Caffeinated CX, where we talk about CX and stuff, all in a hyper-caffeinated state. Today is going to be about the and stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about leadership and my personal leadership philosophy. And to get some background on my leadership philosophy and what I've built, you have to have a couple of things. One, you have to have a raging hatred for micromanagement. You have to have a raging hatred for spreadsheet management, right? You should not manage off of a spreadsheet. You need three things to be a good leader. You need IQ, you need EQ, and you need AQ. So, intelligence, that's the brain smarts and how well you can recognize patterns, stuff like that. You need emotional intelligence, so you know how to read people and get along with people and see if someone's having a bad day without even talking to them yet. That gets easier as you get to know your team. And you need to have that adversity intelligence, which means that you can't just give up when things don't go your way. Now, on top of that, there is some recommended reading. And yes, leaders are readers. That's an old saying that I picked up somewhere, but it is incredibly true. It is incredibly true. In order to lead, you have to read. You have to know your stuff. And I'm going to give a list of books that will help you become the leader that you need to be. And you should always strive to be, that's annoying, you should always strive to be the leader that you wish you had when you were coming up in your career. So, the books that I'm going to recommend are the following. One is Extreme Ownership by Jocko, Willink, and Leif, Babin. Fantastic book. If you haven't read that, and I'm sure you have, go pick it up either in the hardback form, I'm sure it's on paperback by now, or the version on Audible. Both are good. So it's the same book. So yeah. The next one is The 1 Minute Manager. I forget who it's by, but that's the one we're going to be focusing on most in this video. So The 1 Minute Manager. Hey, Snaky. Snaky's down there with us. If you're listening to this on the podcast, there's a snake figure drawing behind me. That's it. All right. So, and then the next one is Leadership, Strategy, and Tactic, which is Field Manual 2 by Jocko, Willink. That's a good one too. And then there's a lot of other ones that are just really freaking good. And I'll put some down in the description box on the YouTube video, as well as on the podcast description. So, don't want to get into too much of a recommended reading list, although that would be an interesting blog or LinkedIn post. So, it is what it is. Another good leadership thing is Darren Hardy's Hero's Journey. There's a paywall, and you have to pay for it, but it is worth watching. And there is a lot of good material in there. It's a year-long course, but honestly, you could tackle it once it's fully released in like a month or so. So let's go on. So in the 1 Minute Manager, there's 3 things that good leaders do, right? And that is, they all take about a minute. 1 minute goals, 1 minute praises, and 1 minute reprimands. So 1 minute goals, you sit down with your employees, get to know them, you come up with a half page, no more, no less, of goals for that employee. So any goals pertaining to the job. You can break it down and actually have, hey, well, here are your professional goals. Let's go ahead and see if you have any personal goals that you can learn how to accomplish while you're here, and then help them get the resources to actually learn about what they can do to accomplish those goals. Really cool to do. It actually shows the employee that you give a crap about them and you're not just using them to do whatever job they're doing, because, well, that ain't cool if that's the only reason you're hiring employees, is to just use them. The point of being a leader is not just using people, you're developing them too. And that's drastically important, and it's a bit overlooked. So, all right, so 1 minute praises is every time that an employee does something great, a little bit outside of the norm. When they go from ordinary to extraordinary, you shout that out and you be hyper specific about what happened. So, and then in public, you shout that out. So either on your Slack or Discord server, or if you have a full floor or a full building, you shout it out. You say, hey everybody, so-and-so did this, awesome job. Let's all give them a round of applause. Then, the 1 minute reprimands. This is done in private because you want to praise in public, reprimand in private. Otherwise, you're a jerk, and you don't want to be a jerk. And if you do want to be a jerk, or if you are a jerk, leadership ain't right for you. Sorry. So, you sit them down, do a corrective action, you be hyper specific about the behavior, and you only address the behavior. You don't address them on a personal level. You address what they did. Period. That's it. What they did. And then, as long as that behavior is not done again, not demonstrated again, you drop it. It happened. It's in the past. Water under the bridge. Unless they repeat that behavior, then it becomes more, and yeah. So that's that. Using those three things, the 1 minute goals, the 1 minute praises, and the 1 minute reprimands, is going to up your leadership game by a lot. Another thing is, get to know your people. Get to know them by name. Know what they're into. Know what drives them. Know what motivates them. Not everybody is motivated by money. Money is important, yes. Yes, it is. Everyone has to pay their bills. Everybody has to feed their families. Everybody needs to put gas in their car or be able to afford Uber if they choose not to drive. So on, so forth. But it's not the prime motivator in every single person. Sometimes recognition is. Sometimes a title is. Sometimes it's being able to help others. So, and those are the people that make usually the best trainers, are the people that, to lack a better metaphor, get off on helping and showing other people what to do. And those people are cool. And normally they make the best trainers. And that's what motivates them. Being helpful, being educational, and seeing other people succeed in what they showed them. They also make good leaders as well. So good subordinate leaders, like team leads or mentors or anything like that. So find those people, develop them, develop their skills, launch them up. And yeah, not everyone's motivated by money, but some people are, and that's okay. So find little incentives you can give your teams so that they're highly oiled and highly motivated. not that difficult to do. And since it's impossible for a human being to effectively lead more than 5-6 people at a time, you have to install those subordinate leaders to take care of either the front line or if your team grows too big, right? If you have a team of, say, 50 people, well, it's a lot of people, right, for one person. And yeah, you are the ultimate leader. All the ownership is on you, but you need to install minor leaders in there as well. You'd want to get one for every, let's say, 8 to 10 people that you have. And these don't have to be like big wig, hey, you have the right to fire and not fire, blah, 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 because you don't want that. You want that ultimate decision to lie with you because that's your responsibility. You don't delegate that responsibility to anyone else. Write-ups and firings come from the chief, come from the manager, come from the person in charge of the subordinate leaders. So the department head has to make those decisions. But for the day-to-day activities, day-to-day supervision, you need to install people because once your team gets too big, you literally can't. Or you can, but you just won't get anything else done. And, well, then your department will suffer and you'll suffer and the company you work for or whatever will find a new leader who can, and you'll be out on the streets or demoted into one of those things. And then depending on how you acted with everybody, they're either going to pity you or they're going to hate you. So it is what it is. So I don't know. But you want to get to know your people. You want to install those subordinate leaders in there just so you can lead effectively. And let's talk a little bit about delegation and why it's a good thing. So, and some leaders have too big of an ego to delegate. So, because I'm the only one that can do this. Well, the only reason that you're the only one that can do that is because you haven't shown anyone else, either out of fear that they're going to take your job or out of ego thinking that nobody that you've hired can do what you do, and that ain't true. So, delegate. And delegate to the people that you want to develop, that want to be developed. So, small projects at first, ramping up into bigger ones once they've accomplished those to your satisfaction. So, and then you're teaching them new skills that they can utilize for the benefit of the company and themselves. But that gets that off your plate so that you can focus on the bigger picture. And that's where you want to be as a leader. You want to be looking at the bigger picture. You want to be able to look up and out. If your attention is always focused down and in, you're not going to get much done. And that sucks. So, in addition to that, you want to have a good relationship with other people on your same level in the hierarchy, as well as above and below. You want to have influence with everybody so that when push comes to shove, you can be there for your team and defend them if something goes awry. And honestly, if something goes awry, that's on you. It's your department, it's your company, it's your whatever. You hired the people, you trained the people, or you had the people trained, you picked out the trainers for the people. So ultimately that decision was yours and it comes back to you and you have to take ownership of it. See Extreme Ownership, the book I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So let's recap. So 1 minute goals, 1 minute praises, 1 minute reprimands, install subordinate leaders once your team gets too big to manage effectively and it makes it so that you can't look up and out. And then delegate tasks to people that you want to develop and want to be developed. It has to be both. It just can't be one. So if someone wants to be developed, but you have a little bit of a hang up on it, You can delegate really, really small things to them and see how they handle it. And then judging from that, well, you can go on from there. But if you want to if you want to develop somebody and they don't want that, they like where they are, they like what they're doing, that's fine. That's fine. Let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. So you can't force people to become better. You can't force people to learn new things. And you can't force people to step up their game. But that's just the way it is. So, and also you cannot be a jerk and be an effective leader at the same time. So that's it. That's it for this Caffeinated CX. So just a few things to think of. And this goes with CX leaders, contact center leaders, any leader at all. You have to develop your team, the ones that want to be developed. You want to hire good people. You want to raise people up from within. You want to install those subordinate leaders so that you can lead more effectively and that you'll have a more efficient and better department. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.